Hello, welcome. March 31st, 2023, meeting of the Rotary Club Beavercreek. Last day of March. First 3 months are gone. Spring is here. Beautiful spring day. I'm Brandon, by the way. I have heard grumblings that I was leading less in-person meetings than Mike Canada's presidency, so I thought I would come back. It's great to see you, Mike. So, yeah, no, I apologize. I went on the road for 2 weeks and then I got back and I was a disaster last week. If you know me, I run every day. I did not run last week at all. So that says how I felt. So thank you to Dave Cusack for stepping in for me last week. So I think Shannon Graham and David Brandenburg are our greeters today. Is that correct? Thank you, sirs. Eric Marcus for being our Ticketmaster, Pete, Mark, and Mike for the great programs as always, and Jim Gundel for our website. With that, Mr. Denny Jarvie. Welcome back. Thanks, sir.
Good afternoon. Would you please join me in an attitude for prayer? So today I offer this prayer. Lord of the universe, you have given most of mankind a strong desire to do good, to be honest, to serve others, and to faithfully fulfill their obligations to their neighbors. Help us as Rotarians and humans to do good. Help us as Rotarians and humans to be honest and ethical in all of our dealings. Help us as Rotarians and humans to serve others. Help us as Rotarians and humans to faithfully fulfill our obligation to our neighbors, our community, our nation, and the world. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, sir. Let's see. Joe Jenkins.
We are at 50% and we have a couple guests today. Don, can I have guests?
Oh, yeah, we got Lynn Hall and Jesse Jones, I'm sorry.
All right,
But
and
you can
then,
say it.
I'm sorry. And then, Shannon,
So in a roundabout way, I've got the three Ryla kids here and my wife today, my wife Brenda, so. Isaac is my son. Jacob is Jay's son and Jack is Pete's son, so that way you can make the connection.
Welcome. And that's all. Okay. I've heard Don has been fired again. That's probably for the best. Shannon.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Right, so you guys have all heard me talk about Ryla before. I was going to invite the guys up and have them talk a little bit about their experience. And then I'm going to have Jay come up and talk a little bit about his experience. I'd invite my wife up, but she is not a public speaker. So, as a matter of fact, her only stipulation was, I will help with Ryla as long as I don't have to get up and talk. So I will honor those wishes. If I could invite Jacob, Jack, and Isaac up, please. So again, this year we had 78 students. It was cold, but the kids had a blast. They were out in the snow, climbing on the climbing tower. They had their bridge project, the balloon build. Again, one of the great things I think of the whole program, we give them the Rotary theme for the year, and then they have to give presentations, 8 to 10 minutes presentations. Everybody in their group has to present, and it's pretty awesome seeing all the kids get up there and talk. And so this year we had 3 students from Columbia that spoke very little English, and they thought that was going to be a hurdle for them. I explained to them at no point in time is the criteria you have to speak in English. So they gave a portion of the presentation was in Spanish, which was kind of awesome. And a lot of the kids who took Spanish got a chance to use it. So if you guys would give them a warm round of welcome, we'll have Jack because he's standing here first.
Hi, I'm Jack. So my time at Ryla, I had a lot of fun. One of the big things Shannon talked about, we had a 10-minute presentation that we had to do. And I found out later that the 10-minute presentation was actually not worth anything, and they didn't really care if we actually did the presentation. They just wanted us to get embarrassed and have make us think on our feet. And I realized that that worked really well because we had about, I'd say, maybe 4 hours throughout our days that we spent working on this, and my team that I was a part of, we worked really hard with it, and we were able to create a presentation, but it was scary throughout probably 90% of the entire time. Another thing, we had a really fun bridge project that we did where we built a tiny little bridge, and you had to supply a big container of markers on top of it that probably weighed about 10 pounds, and it had to fit underneath it and it had to support it. And I think my team went above and beyond, and we were able to support an entire person on top of that. So I don't want to brag or anything. So here's Isaac to talk about his experience.
Hello, I'm Isaac. At Ryla, I can speak for all of us when we really didn't know what we were getting into. We showed up and we were kind of lost at first. And when we got there, we were in a group together. But as we went on with Ryla, we got separated into our own groups. And that's where Jack talked about his team built the best bridge. My team won the race, or it wasn't really a race, but we had to do certain activities outside. Our team won better than Jack's. But yeah, I had fun a lot. I had more fun than I was expecting. I was expecting to kind of get there and it'd be awkward between everybody, but after about an hour or two, the ice broke. We were all comfortable. It's a great time.
So I'm Jacob. We first got there, we all got separated pretty quickly. But one of the first activities we did was an activity where we were simply told, make a circle around these two staff members, and they gave us a name. One of them was Jesus, and I don't remember who the other person was because it was a week ago. Over a week ago. But it was interesting because they just told us one simple instruction, and it turned out they were not planning on staying within the circle. And one of them was hiding in the middle of nowhere, so we didn't even know who they were. So it was just really fun to like bring together an entire group of people who didn't even know, like most of us didn't even know each other's name, but we all would like shout at each other, like lock arms now, let's get this person in, and then let's separate and get the other person and bring them together and like herd them together. And it was just really interesting how fast you could bring together a group of people with a goal, with just like a simple goal, with a bunch of different obstacles coming around. And then another obstacle I faced was unlike these two who really enjoyed the team members they were with and made some great friendships, I did not. In fact, there was a lot of discourse between my group because we were all very different and a lot of us wanted to do things differently. Yet we still managed, we did our presentation and I was happy with our presentation. And I think we all had a good time nonetheless. It was just very bumpy, but I still have we still made friends there. Anytime we had downtime, we would talk to the group of people, and we have a little chat going on with a bunch of people we met there that is still alive, and we were expecting to die within 2 days. So that's something. But I enjoyed my my trip to Ryland.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I'm gonna bookend what they said, which was awesome. We didn't plan this, by the way, so everything that they said, I'm gonna kind of reiterate, which is what I was planning on saying. They had no idea what they were getting into, and it's like that on purpose. All three of them are Rotarians' sons, and we didn't give them much guidance for a reason. The whole reason of this thing is to get a bunch of juniors, sophomores and juniors together and have them come together as a team and lead with very little guidance, very little instructions, just task oriented, make it happen. And to see from Friday to Sunday what they come up with is amazing. And like I said, these guys were like, hey, what is this? And I'm like, you're going, it's a leadership thing. You'll figure it out when you get there. They're all like, I don't want to go. I guess I'll go. And then they're like, that was great. Can we go again? They can't, not as an attendee, but we are going to probably bring them back as youth advisors in the future. So it's probably won't be their last, but thank you to the club for sponsoring these three. They had a great experience. I have a great experience out there hanging out with the youth. We were out there from Friday to Sunday, and it is amazing to see 80 kids come together and not know each other, and then they're best of friends from the end of it. So thank you. So I wanted the guys to come in, give a little testimonial so that you guys have something tangible, that you understand how much of an impact the program has. Super glad the club supports it at the level that it does. Next year, we're hoping to send 4 students. What they kind of touch base on is what we're trying to do is I'm trying to evolve the program so it'll be a youth-led program. These guys are going to come back next year as youth advisors. And so they're going to lead a lot more of the program than me, so I can step back. And so, like I said, it is amazing to see all the kids that don't know each other. Half of them have this look like I want to stab you in the eyes when they get there. And literally the end of it, they're crying and they're saying, we don't want to leave. What can this be longer? Why didn't you make it longer? Can we come back next year? And it's like, yay. So thank you to the club for all that you do in support of the kids. And I hope we continue to really support Ryland. Thank you.
Thank y'all for coming today and sharing that information with us. Happy Bucks. Dave got a lot last week. Don't get quiet on me.
The marching bands had the opportunity this last week to go to Florida, to Orlando. They marched at Magic Kingdom on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And Universal on Tuesday. So I just got back last night. Got to spend a week down there, had all fun at the amusement park. So it was nice and sunny, and I come back to
Beautiful Ohio.
parking.
Oh, that's 2.
8, right?
Anyone else? Sir.
Yes, I have a couple of happy bucks. Monday I'm headed to New Hampshire again, I take a train again. And go help my 17-year-old grandson celebrate his birthday. And then stay for Easter. And you 3 guys remind me of him in so many ways. I'm glad you had a great time.
Wonderful. Safe travels. Ma'am.
Okay, those of you who don't know me, I'm not a Rotarian, but I've been here so many times that I sometimes think I am. I got a couple of happy bucks. The first one is to hang on to what Jerry just said. You guys are great. I look at you like you and know that America is in good hands. That's my first one. My second one is specifically to Jack Bales, because even though he doesn't know who I am, building a bridge at Owens Place. It was a wonderful, gorgeous, marvelous bridge. And he didn't have to have 10 pounds of rockets to support. And my third one is just a plug for Owens Place. Our race is our only fundraiser for the year is June 11. You can sign up on Speedy People. We'd love to see some people support us. And thanks for always making me feel welcome.
Well, thanks so much for coming today. Who else? Yeah.
So we've had the joy of the past couple of months watching my daughter play in 2 different volleyball leagues. And one of them is coming to the end tomorrow where she's playing in the championship for her school league.
Anyone else? Yeah, I've got a few because I was gone for a while. The first is my wife applied for a program through the Air Force where they only take 6 people. And she found out through who knows what LCMC is? Nobody knows what LCMC is? There you go. One person. Life Cycle Management Center at the base. 26,000 people work in LCMC. It covers at Wright Pat, Hill Air Force Base, Hanscom Air Force Base, tons of bases. For everyone who applied for the program, she was ranked 1 out of everyone in all of the 26,000, but she still has to go against the broader Air Force. So we're hoping she gets that program. If so, we will probably be leaving the country for a few years, but we won't know for a few more months. So we'll see. But that would be next year, long after my time. So don't worry. We went to Hawaii. I saw 40 new species of birds, which was awesome. If y'all have never been to Hawaii, they have a ton of invasive birds, which is really sad. 2/3 of their native birds are now extinct because of all the invasives. But the ones they have that are still there are just the weirdest little birds because they got lost. They flew over there like millions of years ago, and it's called adaptive radiation. It's what, who knows, Charles Darwin and the finches on Galapagos? That's adaptive radiation. It's the same thing. So they've got these birds with huge curved bills that can reach down into flowers. So if you ever go to Hawaii, spend some time looking for the birds. I had a lot of fun. Son turned 1 last week, which was like, oh man, I feel for y'all now. Everybody's like, oh, my kid's graduating. Wah, sure, whatever. Now I'm like, oh my God, no, he's about to graduate. And he's like 1 year old. So that was a lot. I've told him he's done. He is no longer, we're staying put at 1. And then lastly, my mom came into town for his first birthday. She got in last Friday and we were leaving in like 90 minutes to go to Knoxville. I'm doing the Knoxville half marathon on Sunday. And so she gets to watch me. And then her boyfriend's coming up from Georgia to pick her up and take her the rest of the way home. So it really works out. So happy to be back. Thanks for having me back. Are there any other happy bucks? Okay. We do have a ticket. 3, 2, 4, 8, 1, 0.
All right.
There we go. Sandy.
Should be good there. Yeah.
Those only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. So, pot gross. Okay, announcements. Jim Rudd.
We're taking nominations for Outstanding Community and Service Awards. Next Friday is the deadline, so please consider nominating someone. And also, we're taking sponsorships for Flags for Heroes. Memorial Day will be our next event, so also consider nominating somebody. Thanks.
Jim, if you shoot me an email, I can email the whole club so I don't forget. I'm assuming pancake breakfast are here.
Yeah, we're coming up on the April 15th, our pancake breakfast. If you already ordered tickets, and Beth's got them here in envelopes for you. If you think of anybody else that I might want to invite, anybody else who might get squeezed in a sponsor if we have. But we're excited that it's coming. I'll spread the word.
Thank y'all for all you're doing. It's good to have that back. Any other announcements? Oh, man.
Shift gears, on April 29th, it's the Rotary Day of Service. We did that last year where our district went into the city of Dayton and did a project. And this year we're working on a playground in the Miami Chapel area. So if you're interested in signing for that, it will be just that project for our district. Last year we had multiple ones where people were scattered, but everybody will be working together onto that playground. So the district sent out a link. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me and I'm happy to put you in connection with it.
Someone from the Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission emailed me. I think it's that same day. It's another tree planting in Beavercreek specifically. So I've asked him to send me the flyer, but I think he's like a former Rotary president of the Dayton Club. So I told him to send it to me, but if there's a contradiction, we'll take the first one. Try to think. The slide is wrong, not these slides. These slides are correct. My slides were incorrect. Our speaker next week is no longer get to cancel, so we will be finding another speaker. So maybe just come. It'll be like a grab bag mystery speaker. Who knows? But we will find another speaker before next week. Monday morning at 7 a.m. We didn't do it this past month because I left town. It will be coffee. It'll be at Starbucks, 7 a.m. The Starbucks right there on Fairfield. An email will go out on Sunday as a reminder. And then we'll finally have a board meeting next Friday. So I apologize that we've had to move that, but next Friday we'll do a board meeting. Eric will probably take half of it with 3 months worth of financials. So please come. I'm very excited. Anything else? Okay, I think with that, Don Adams. Exactly.
Well, I didn't get to do the sergeant's report today, but I do get to introduce our speaker. One of the other organizations I'm a member of is Greenbucks. That's a division of Ambucks, which is, as you can see, gives, I'll let Letty explain all of what it does, but I went to this visibility day about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, something like that at the mall. And they gave out, I think, 7 bikes that day to disabled kids and 2 veterans. And I was hooked. I mean, it's an amazing event to be involved with, to watch the smiles on these kids and veterans' faces when they get a bike. They can go out and be mobile again and be with their friends and do things like that. So my job today is introducing Letty Hall, who is the president of Greenbucks. She's done an outstanding job for us. And with that, Letty.
Thank you, Don. As Don said, being a member of Greenbucks has always been a fun, you get to do all kinds of things. It's been just really enlightening. You learn a lot about tools and building bikes too. But Greenbucks is just one chapter. It's a chapter of a national organization called Ambucks. And Ambucks, it stands for American Business Clubs, and it started right around the same time that the Rotary started. So I was doing a little homework, and Rotary started in 1905, and Ambucks was started in 1922. And so we're all centenarians here, centenarians. And it was, once I have a little bit more time, I want to really research that era, because there was a big explosion in philanthropy, in community, and providing the needs of the community. And with that spirit, we're hoping that it just continues. And it's just kind of really fun to see high school kids getting involved, and you guys make me want to be a high schooler again. That was just like no, but it was fun to hear your stories and all the great experiences you're having. So flashing back a little bit more about Greenbucks, we started about 30 years ago, and in the mid 1990s, Ambucks shifted to providing these adaptive trikes, these little red metal trikes. And they really provided so much more. And I want to divide our recipients. So we're going to flip to the next slide. Veterans. I'm going to talk a little bit about veterans because my husband's a veteran. We know veterans. Veterans are a big part of our community here near Wright Pat. And, these veterans are coming back from deployments and wars, not only just that, but also, honoring our older veterans who have had illness, and they're benefiting from these Amtrikes in ways that are beyond the physical. So in order to be able to ride this bike, you have to have some physical mobility, but they're adapted in that you don't have to have the ability to ride a two wheel. If you are unable to ride that, then we can make all kinds of accommodations for veterans, with disabilities, but it's so much more than the physical. This provides veterans with social, emotional. We hear so much right now about veterans and suicide, where it's impacting this generation in ways that, it's just unprecedented. And what these Amtraks do is they provide our veterans with the ability to connect, to get out there, get physical, connect. There are organizations in Xenia, and thank goodness we're right nestled right in the Midwest, with Xenia being the bike capital of our area. And it's just a really great way for us to honor the veterans by giving them not only the mobility, the physical rehabilitation, but the social and emotional rehabilitation as well. So our next ones, well, I mean, who would give a cutie patootie of that? Gussie reminded me when I was going over this, and she says, don't forget to mention mom and dad are veterans. So this lovely couple and Lily, they were like mega athletes. They are mega athletes. Parents are very at the top of their physical game, and they have this young boy and then they have this precious little girl, and they were told she will never walk. And so, you start going down that rabbit hole of my child will never walk. So there are so many things that they can't do. Well, this little girl, her name is Lily, she's 4, but she talks like she's 24. And there is no can't in this family. Lily rides her bike everywhere. They travel. And it's easier for them to just put her in that bike than it is a wheelchair. And there is no better marketing than Lily. And the wonderful part of Greenbucks is that we are able to provide Lily with a bike right now at age 4. And then when she outgrows this bike, the next one. And when she outgrows that bike, the next one. And it's really watching her grow, watching her get stronger, watching her be able to do what her brother does, being able to create those family bike rides, those family memories that, otherwise might have been, unable to be had. So, this is another aspect of what we do at Greenbucks. We also help adults with disabilities as well. They just are not as cute as Lily. So we're ready to move on. Okay, so we talk about providing bikes and providing bikes and providing bikes. Well, we have this little thing called COVID and a big dry spell of supply chain. And so when a child or a person outgrows a bike, it comes back. And, what do you do with the bike then? So for a while, we dug out the basement. We're like, oh, I have a lateral support, or I have this, and I have a tire. We go to the tire shop or the bike shop and get a couple extra spare parts and pass these bikes around. And we said, as soon as we get your bike, you can bring this one back. And so what these bikes have a life that goes on. I mean, it's like cats. They keep going, from one to the next to the next. And one of our really kind of like our pride and joy is that we are able to use these bikes that you've got come back to us. And sometimes, it's important to get something nice, new and shiny, but these are in great shape. So what we do is we give them to schools, and the schools are able to use them in a therapeutic way. And I'll go ahead and give you a quick little video that we received recently from one of our physical therapists. Children are benefited.
We tested the audio before. We switched it.
Hang on. We have audio.
Well, it's because I'm playing it from this computer.
The wire's not here.
All right, I'm gonna keep talking.
Yeah.
So, these bikes have a continued life, and they're able to be used for, again, like I said, for lots of kiddos. One of the really wonderful facets is that we are also, Greenbucks and Bucks are also able to provide scholarships. So physical therapists, occupational therapists, speech language pathologists, the brilliancy in the national organization to create a future is founded in these scholarships. These scholarships help these students be able to, finish their schooling and supplement their schooling tuition dollars, but they also educate. They also help them learn about AMBUC's mission, take their order bikes, so it keeps it going. And so the future of AMBUC's is our kid. Oh, these are ready.
Had a brainwave. Hold on, let me just share the screen. We go with this.
We did. All right, here we go.
Of children who have benefited from access to AMBUC's bikes for many years. At young age, they have struggled with motor planning, but with the help of therapy, they have been able to graduate from school-based therapy and continue their motor development through daily access to these specialized bikes. The teachers take their students to the gym or an available space around the building, allowing the children to have the many benefits that come along with biking. In addition to the physical benefits, it provides the children with confidence to build on their social skills, continuing their endurance across all functional activities. And it gives these students the opportunity to feel freedom, independence, and the wind in their faces. Thank you, AMBUC's.
And these are the hand-me-downs. They're so grateful. I guess, just sharing with you about what we do, what our mission is, has just, just kind of makes me feel a little emotional because we received the bikes. So basically the process is, the bikes, the therapist will contact us and say, I have someone who needs an Amtrak. And so what we do is we take that application, we submit it, we receive the bike in a big brown box. We find a builder, we build the bike, present the bike, and then they get to take it home. It's just this great community action plan that gets rotated over and over and over again. I'm just going to brag a little bit. There are about 3,500 Amtrak's that are sent out every year throughout the country. There are over 150 chapters of AMBUC's in our country. So I did the math. That would be about 23 Amtrak's per organization. On average, Greenbucks gives away 75 to 100 bikes a year. So, yeah. It's really great being part of such an active group of people. We absolutely, are grateful for our donors. You're grateful for our supporters, our community, our bike builders. It really just, takes a whole community and, just really fun to be part of something that started over 100 years ago. And, thinking about our future, watching it come to fruition, it's just really exciting.
Sure.
Do you have any questions about Greenbucks or AMBUC's?
Excuse me. Looks like you said that you get like a box of parts. Where do you get the parts? Because it looks like there's a wide variety of different styles of bikes.
Correct.
They sort of look similar. Like, is there a supplier that does a bunch of those different styles?
Correct. Well, that's a really great question. So he asked about the bikes and the suppliers and how each bike is custom fitted. And this is why it's important for the bike to be ordered by a clinician. And so there are trainings that we provide to the therapists, and they are custom fit. If someone needs supports on their side because their trunk control is poor, they get that. If they need a headrest, they get that. If they are missing a limb, they get an adaptive trike that doesn't require that. you get hand trike, it is a custom piece of equipment. And they range in price from about 600 for someone like Lily's bike to about 1,600 for one for a veteran with needs. The bikes themselves right now, for now, come from overseas. We are working with an organization out of North Carolina to, in the not too distant future, have the bikes made here in the USA.
Good.
Anyone else?
You might also mention that those 600 or 1,600, that's not a charge to the person that gets it.
Correct. These bikes come with no obligation for financial compensation. You will get a bike if you need it. We work hard to raise money. We work hard to provide so that no one has to have the ability to pay for such an expensive piece of equipment.
I was gonna piggyback along that. How do you get your funding?
Well, the community sport. We have a fundraiser once a year about Christmas time. And, you know, we just have generous donors. We really rely on our community. Yeah.
So you mentioned therapists, but how are the people in need identified?
Absolutely. So, for example, at the school, a physical therapist or an occupational therapist typically are the ones that identify a need. If the person goes to PT or OT, they identify the need. What we have worked really hard to is kind of get the word out. So we partner with the county services, the local hospitals. We partner with clinicians all over our area, and everyone knows there's also a national wish list. And so if the clinician doesn't have an organization within their 50, 100, 150 mile radius, they submit the application on the national wish list. And I am also, again, very proud to say that Green Bucks last month eradicated the national wish list. And so we provided everybody that was on the national wish list with their.
Wow.
If one wants to support Green Buck, do you have a webpage?
We do. It's greenbucks.org, GREENEBUCS.org. We also, financial help is great if you have tool skills. If you don't have tool skills, we also have bike builds. We had a double day bike build last month where we built 12 Amtrikes. And, we took experienced and inexperienced and partnered them. And, my 22-year-old daughter, Peanut of a girl, has built 25 bikes in her time. My son grew up building bikes, working over from the high school with his friend, build bikes. We take all kinds of help to get these bikes out. We are a small organization, but very impactful.
What are the specifications for how the bike is constructed come from?
Yeah, so each box comes with a list of instructions. There are YouTube videos for when I have trouble. There are experienced bike builders. We have a couple of really great experienced bike builders. And so there's no need. We even have extra tool kits. So you don't even have to have your own wrench. That definitely is not a prerequisite.
Do you have a specific service area? Is it just Greene County or is it?
Great question. So we are the only active chapter in Ohio.
Wow.
So actually in the next couple of weeks, we're going to Lakeview because they have given us donation, and we're taking 3 Amtrikes. We sent 3 Amtrikes their way, so we're having a presentation there. We're all over, and we're at national because we eradicated the national whistle. So yeah, and so that's we service a large area, and that's why we have so many bikes. This year alone, we have already given away 36 bikes. We're giving away 36.
What's the biggest challenge facing Green Bucks?
The future. Get involvement. Membership. Participation. Yeah. Many hands make light work.
What does membership mean?
Membership means you're cool. You come to the monthly meetings. I know we're talking about altering the membership dues. We're restructuring that, so hang tight. I can get you that information probably in the next month.
What does a presentation typically look like?
Yeah, presentations are the best part. So we'll have like we snagged Dawn, we have a visibility event, and you have all these Amtrikes, and you do it in a place where you invite the community, or you have the community already there, and you give away these trikes, and they ride around, and they basically do all the marketing for you, and they're like, look at this, that riding his bike, or look at this child riding the bike who rode in on a wheelchair and is riding a bike. So yeah, that's for visibility events are just super fun and bring a tissue. Yeah, for sure. So thank you so much. One more thing. If you know of a veteran that has a need, if you know of a child or an adult with disabilities that has a need, if you know of a physical therapist, occupational therapist, or speech pathologist student, we can give them a scholarship. So please come and see me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I always say the speech is good if you get a lot of questions. So you got a lot. Please.
Said, you asked about an Amtrak, a presentation. On the last Saturday of April, we are hosting the regional convention, and at 2:30 on Saturday afternoon, we are going to present trikes at the Holiday Inn. So if you're free, just come by and watch the Amtrak Derby. Our theme is Run for the Roses, and so it's a derby instead of a rodeo. But it is worth the half hour or 45 minutes of your time to come and see the expression on the kids' faces, but also on their families' faces.
What day was that?
April 29th, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Saturday.
Yeah.
What's into your taco today?
Only lasts 30 to 40 minutes.
Wonderful, thank you. Thanks to Beth. We're going to donate a book to the Beavercreek Library in your honor. She's already signed it. It's Where is Machu Picchu? I'll save everyone the time. The answer is Peru. So you don't have to read it, but the kids won't know that, so they do have to read it. Yeah, I know. Sorry. By the way, there's a great series on Netflix. It's all in Spanish, but it's an episode all about Peru. It's about 90 minutes long. There subtitles. I recommend it. And Magical Andes is another really good one about South America. Also highly recommend. So I have Pratap and Charles next week, but I think you said you won't be here next week. So if anybody wants to step up and be a greeter next week, Charles will be out. So just shoot me an email.
Beth's gonna do it.
Beth says she'll do it. I will probably forget, but Beth, I'm certain you'll remember. We do not have a speaker as of right now, but like I said, it's going to be great. It's always great. So the greatest speech ever. So please come no matter what. Keep an eye out on beavercreekrotary.com and our Facebook page. Thank you. I always forget who runs that. I think it's like Steven, Teresa, Mike Zwig. I don't know. It's a lot of people. I've been noticing a lot of posts. So thank you to who's ever involved in that. Anything else for the good of the club? Okay, ma'am, would you be willing to do this to the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, which is the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good.
Also, keep an eye out on your email next week for Founder's Day registration email coming out. All right, where did my phone? Where did my phone go?